Hi everyone, this is Vasudev Panda. Welcome to Master of English. पिले आम पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ लेडी रो 1 2 3 4 चार्टा यूनिट पढ़ी सारी आज देखा तार क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर पूरा 4टा यूनिट क्वेश्चन आंसर वीडियो टी लंबा हम शेष पर्यटन देखा ठीक अच्छे। तो प्रथम प्रश्न कौन अच्छी व्हाई वाज इट हार्ड टू बिलीव फॉर द ऑथर टू बिलीव दैट हिज ग्रैंडमदर वाज वंस यंग एंड प्रेटी। अगेन क्वेश्चन मुझे रिपीट करुच्ची व्हाई वाज इट हार्ड फॉर द ऑथर टू बिलीव दैट his grandmother was once young and pretty. So answer over the author has seen his young grandmother for last 20 years. 20 वर्ष वाला से देखुतले तको for the last 20 years, and she was always wrinkled with white hair. And so when people say she was young and pretty in her youth, the writer could not believe this. Okay, बर्तमान एटा थिला प्रथम प्रश्न। द्वितीय प्रश्न को जीवा हमें। द्वितीय प्रश्न कौन अछि? द्वितीय प्रश्न अछि How did the grandfather appear in his portrait? जेजे बापा किभଳି देखा जाउतले। So in the portrait, the grandfather appeared to be a bearded man with a big turban, loose-fitting clothes. He seemed to be 100 years old. कौन अछि? पिले मन रखिबा ए जो ए सब की वर्ड गुडा अछि bearded man, then loose-fitting clothes, then turban. He seemed to 100 years old. These are the keywords. आमको मन रखबार अच्छे। क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 3 नंबर प्रश्न कौन व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ ए पर्सन डिड ही लुक इन हिज पोर्ट्रेट कि भलिया लोक से देखा जाउतले। सो इन हिज पोर्ट्रेट कौन लिखिबा इन हिज पोर्ट्रेट ही लुक्ड एज इफ ही वुड ओनली हैव लॉट्स एंड लॉट्स ऑफ grandchildren. So you can write also he just looked like a grandfather, not a father at all. Okay, question number 4 4 नंबर प्रश्न how did the author portray his grandmother? How does the author portray his grandmother छवि को किभଳି से आंकिचंती। So the question will be the the writer's grandmother was कौन थिले short, fat and slightly bent। कौन थिले short, fat and slightly bent मन रखिबा short, fat and slightly bent. Her face had wrinkles and she had grown older and stayed at same age for 20 years. से माने तांकर बयस रे परिवर्तन हो नथला से एबळे हे जाइतिले जे। वर्तमान देखिया पले 5 नंबर प्रश्न कोन why does he say the third was almost revolting। वर्तमान आंसर देखिया पले आंसर कोन the writer's grandfather appeared to be more than 100 years, yes or no, who could have lots of grandchildren. His grandmother appeared old but pretty and a bit younger in compared to his grandfather. He could not think that such a pretty lady could be the wife of such an old man. So these are the keywords कौन देखो that pretty, these are the word younger, this is the word grandchildren, these are the words 100, these are the words we have to remember। 6 नंबर प्रश्न देखिए प्ले 6 नंबर प्रश्न कौन the grandmother had a divine beauty। how does the author bring this out? divine beauty तांकर थिला सुंदरता थिला ताकू किभଳି से माने आनिचंती। आंसर लिखा पे आंसर कौन हम द ग्रैंडमदर ऑलवेज टोल्ड द बीड्स ऑफ रोजारी सब माल जपुले yes or no, her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayer जोटा सुनी हो नथिला and yet she was like an expanse of pure white serenity breathing peace and contentment. So what are the key words in this case? Then serenity, peace and contentment, and beads of a rosary. These are the keywords we have to remember. Okay, एटा थिला फर्स्ट यूनिट। वर्तमान जीवा हम सेकंड यूनिट रो प्रश्न सब को देखिबा व्हाट आर द ग्रैंडमदर्स रूटीन इन द विलेज। गारे ग्रैंडमांकर रूटीन कौन थिला। आंसर कौन हो पिले आंसर लिखिला बेले हम लिखिबा द ग्रैंडमदर यूज्ड टू वेक अप द राइटर एवरी मॉर्निंग। प्रत्येक दिन सकाळ उठौतिले एवरी मॉर्निंग प्रत्येक दिन and how कौन करथिले and got him ready for school. She bathed and dressed him and took him to the school. So these are the Okay, let us see question number 8. 8 number प्रश्न 8 number प्रश्न कौन? How did the grandmother take care of the writer during his childhood? Was he good companion of the writer in the village? So the answer would be like this. The grandmother woke him up every morning. Woke him up every morning. Yes or no? The grandmother woke him up ସବୁଦିନ ଉଠଉଥିଲେ every morning. Then bathed and dressed him. ଗାଧଉଥିଲେ ଏବଂ ଡ୍ରେସ୍ ବି କରୁଥିଲେ ତାଙ୍କୁ. Bathed and dressed him. Fed him and carried him to school. Fed him ଖୋଉଥିଲେ and carried him to the school. To school, sorry. She was a good companion. She was rather a good companion of the writer in the village, staying with him at every moment. Question number 9. 9 number प्रश्न देखिए पहले. What lesson did the writer learn from the village priest? Village priest ରୁ ସେ କ'ଣ ଶିଖୁଥିଲେ? So the writer learned the alphabet. କ'ଣ ଶିଖୁଥିଲେ? Alphabet and the morning prayer from the village priest. Easy question. Question number 10. 10 number प्रश्न देखिବା ଆମେ. How did the grandmother spend her time at the temple? ମନ୍ଦିରରେ ଜେଜେମା କିଭଳି time spend କରୁଥିଲେ? So grandmother sat inside the temple and was reading the scripture when the writer was standing near the priest. The grandmother sat inside the temple and reading the scripture when the writer was studying near the priest. Okay. Question number 11 houchi, was she a religious person? Yes, so we are to write yes, she was a religious person. And she said her morning prayer in monotonous sing. She used to, study the scripture in the temple. So these are the things we have to remember. Okay. Let's start. Question number 12. 12 number प्रश्न भी देखिबा. So 12 number प्रश्न कौन अछि? 12 number प्रश्न अछि, why did not the grandmother accompany the writer to school in the city? काहे कि से गले नाही. कारण थिला से बस रे जाउतले, इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल रे पढुतले. Yes or no? ताले कोन हबो? The writer went to the school by bus. So the grandmother did not accompany him to the school. Yes or no? Question number 13. Why could not the grandmother help the writer with his lesson at the city? ताहले कौन हबो पिले? The writer was reading Western science. कौन पढुथिले? Western science पढुथिले. Law of gravity, Archimedes principle, and the world being round. Grandmother did not know it, so she could not help the lesson. ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଯିବା ଆମେ क्वेश्चन नंबर 14 पाक 14 नंबर प्रश्न. 14 नंबर प्रश्न कौन अछि? Why did the lesson at the English school distress the grandmother? काहे कि distress करूतला? क्वेश्चन नंबर 14 14 नंबर प्रश्न. Yes or no? So grandmother was an old fashioned lady. Yes or no? Old fashioned lady. And to her reading scripture was real education. पुराण पाठ ही तांक पाई रियल पाठ बोली से भावुले. The English school taught Western science instead of scripture. She thought it is distressing. Yes or no? वर्तमान जीवा में क्वेश्चन नंबर 15 बाको को 15 नंबर प्रश्न. Why was she disturbed? Why was she disturbed about music lesson at the English school? काहे कि से डिस्टर्ब ले. आंसर लिखिबा. The grandmother looked distressed when she heard that music lessons were taught at the English school because कारणटा कोन थिला पिले? Because according to her, music had lewd association. नीच लोक मान काम. It was the monotony of harlots and beggars. Monotony of harlots and beggar. Let us go to question number 16. 16 number प्रश्न. 16 number प्रश्न कौन पिले? What were the 3 ways in which the grandmother spent her days when the author went to university? को 3टा ऊपर से दिन काटू थिला. So it would be when the writer went to university, the grandmother felt lonely. से एकाकी अनुभव करुतिले, felt lonely. She spent time sitting by spinning wheel, reciting prayer and feeding the sparrow. These are the 3 ways. Okay. Question number 17. 17 number प्रश्न. 17 number प्रश्न कौन? बिले 17 number प्रश्न हला. What was the happiest time of the day for her? कोटा तापई दिनर सबटा खुशी समय थिला. So in the afternoon, the grandmother fed the 100 of sparrows that gathered around her demanding bread. While feeding them, she felt that the time was the happiest time of the day for her. So in the afternoon, the grandmother fed 100 of sparrows that gathered around her, demanding bread, and while feeding them, felt. So, feeding sparrows, the happiest moment for her. Okay, let us see question number 18. How did she accept the seclusion? से जो अलगा ହେଇଗଲା ତାକୁ କିଭଳି ସେ accept କଲା? So when the relationship from the writer was cut up, grandmother did not complain. से कौनसी complain कला नहीं, rather accepted with resignation. परवर्ती प्रश्न क्वेश्चन नंबर 19 19 नंबर प्रश्न कौन अच्छे बोले हाउ डिड द ग्रैंडमदर सी द ऑथर अप एट द रेलवे स्टेशन रे किभली से छाड़ी गला व्हेन द राइटर डिसाइडेड टू गो अब्रोड बाहर को जावाई निष्पत्ति नेले ग्रैंडमदर केम टू सी हिम ऑफ एट द रेलवे स्टेशन सी किस्ड हिम हिज फोरहेड एंड सॉ हिम ऑफ दैट्स ऑल. क्वेश्चन नंबर 20 20 नंबर प्रश्न अभी देखा पे 20 नंबर प्रश्न कौन अच्छी हाउ डिड सी रिसीव हिम व्हेन ही केम बैक होम फ्रॉम अब्रोड से जो आसिले से किभली तांको से रिसीव कले जेजेमा किभली रिसीव कले व्हेन द राइटर केम बैक होम फ्रॉम अब्रोड जो फेरिले व्हेन द राइटर केम बैक फ्रॉम अब्रोड ग्रैंडमदर केम टू द स्टेशन टू रिसीव हिम सी क्लास्प्ड हिम इन हर आर्म्स ताको को कला क्लास्प्ड हिम with her arms. Question number 21 21 number प्रश्न what were her happiest moment on the first day of his arrival अथन का arrival रो first day रे तार happiest moment कोउटा थिला so on the first day of his arrival means the author's arrival her happiest moments were with her sparrows से घर छोटिया मान के सहित काटिबाटा whom she fed longer and with privilege rebucks. Question number 22 22 नंबर प्रश्न 22 नंबर प्रश्न कौन अच्छे बोले 22 नंबर प्रश्न होची how did she celebrate in return the return in the evening does her behavior appear to you in the evening she collected some women of the neighbor रो किछि लोकन को से डाकिला and neighborhood played drum baja bajela song of the coming of the warriors. Question number 23 23 number प्रश्न how did she pass away केमिति से मला how did she pass away so the answer would be like this she lay peacefully in bed praying and telling her beads and thereafter what happens gradually her lips stopped moving and her rosary fell from her lifeless finger she died a peaceful death से मरी गला. क्वेश्चन नंबर 24 24 नंबर प्रश्न कौन बोले exactly how did the sparrows react when the author's grandmother died किभली रिएक्ट कले कौन हो when the author's grandmother died जेतेबेले से author's grandmother मले the sparrows sat scattered on the floor around the dead body without chirruping they did not take away food से दिन खाइले नहीं साउंड भी कले नहीं. लास्ट क्वेश्चन शेष प्रश्न नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग द स्वीपर swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin what does this line imply यार अर्थ कौन so it would be like this mother offered few pieces of bread to the sparrows sitting around the cups कौन कहले माँ से मानको किसी खाइबा पाई देले and grandmothers as the grandmother they did not receive it किंतु से माने यह ग्रहण कले नहीं so the next morning the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin exactly to clear the room. So I hope you got all your answer regarding all the units. Thank you. Like the video, subscribe the channel, share the video. Thank you.